Hello everyone and welcome to Clarity 16.1.0 Supportability and Feature Training. I am Vib Mehrotra and in this section we will be covering the saved view enhancements. As part of this release, we are making the following enhancements to the saved view capability. We will have a separate view for my views and shared views. We will have the ability to share saved view via access groups or with everyone as it does today, as well as we will have the capability to flag views as recommended instead of default. The reason this is important is because several of our customers have discussed with us via various product management initiated channels regarding the enhancements to the saved view. What is possible today is that either a user can create a view for themselves or share it with everybody, and when they share with everyone it results in a lot of views available to several users. So customers have asked if there is a way to now share just by access group so they can restrict as to which specific users is able to see a shared group compared to everybody in the organization. So in this release, we are bringing that capability. First, let me discuss a little bit of the layout change that you will notice after the upgrade to 16.1.0 regarding saved view. This change will be everywhere in the application where you can save views. On the left is where you would see the view that used to, the managed view that used to look like prior to 16.1.0. The user used to see created by me and created by others. There was no easy way to see which specific views are shared compared to which one are just created by me or created by others. As well as no easy action items available right here. Starting 16.1.0, the layout is going to be different. When a user goes to manage views, they will now see two tabs, one called mine, which will list all the views that the user created. So the user that is logged into the system and has created those views. Second, they will see the shared tab. In the shared tab will list all the views that are shared. These could be the views that are created by the user, or it could be views created by others and then shared with this user. Let's discuss a little bit more specifics around what all data will be displayed within the two tabs. So starting with the Mine tab, which is where the user will see all the views that the user logged in has created. The first thing that will be observed is that the favorite, the ability to mark a specific view as favorite, is going to use a similar starred-like functionality. So you would see the starred icon. You can click on it to mark a view favorite. The view name, the modified date is standard, and if that specific view created by this user was shared with anybody, then it'll be listed right here under the shared column. We are renaming the default to recommended. There was some confusion around the default wording. So instead of default, we are now going to have recommended as the column header, and there is a new icon or ability to mark something as recommended. The last column is going to be the actions column, which we will cover more in detail, but the action column will allow the user to share or delete their respective views. The second tab is the shared view tab. This is where all the views that were shared and this specific user that has logged into the system has access to use will be listed. Again, right here the layout is where the first column is the favorite column, and the user can just pretty much favorite any views, just like the start capability in the other part of the application. The view name, the modified date, and the view owner will be listed as the next three columns, and then the shared will be listed as to if this specific view is shared with everyone or shared with specific list of access groups. And that'll be all listed right here. The next column is the recommended. So if this user has the view administer access right, then the user can click on the recommended to flag any of these views as recommended. If they do not have the view administer access right, then they will only be able to view this column but not click on any of the recommended flag for a specific view. Also, if the user that's logged in has view administer right, they will then see the actions column to take action against these views. Otherwise, they would not. The access right that we used to ship with the product, which was the view administer, there is a slight change to that access right. In the past, the user with that specific access right could create and edit default views, as well as they could delete existing views created by others. Starting this release, the user with this access right will be able to create and edit recommended views. So again, we've renamed default to recommended. They would be able to share groups, and they can share it either with everyone, or they can share with just the access groups. And then finally, they can delete existing views that is created by others. Let's talk a little bit more breaking down in regards to the access right itself. The user with the access right will be able to do these functionalities compared to the user without the access right. So the user with the access right can see user created views, which is their private and shared, under the Mine tab, and that all users will be able to do that. All users will be able to flag any view as favorite. All users will be able to see shared views that are shared with everyone or with a specific user group that they belong to. All users will be able to share views created by that specific user with everyone. So this is the existing functionality where if I create a view, I can share it with everyone. The user can share views created by the user with access group only if they have the view administer access right. The user can set recommended flag on saved views only if they have the view access right. The user can unshare a view if they have the view administer access right. The user can delete views created by themselves. Any user can create their own, any user can delete any view that they created. However, only the user with the view administer access right can delete views created by others. No user can share a view that is created by others and flagged as private. Let's talk a little bit more about deleting or making a view private. So a shared view can be made private or deleted either by the view owner or the user with the view administer access right. The following is going to happen when a view is made private or deleted. If a shared view is made private, then the view owner will continue to see that page with that view. They can navigate away and come back, and they'll still continue to see that view, as well as they can change other views and come back and they'll still see that view. However, for other users, they'll continue to see that view while they're on that page itself. They'll continue to see the view layout if they navigate away to the other part of the application and come back. However, they'll see it as an unsaved view because they no longer have access to the view. But if they change the view to something else within that page, then they will no longer be able to come back to this view because the view just became private. If a specific view is deleted, then the functionality is very similar to both the users. The users will continue to see the view layout while they're on that page itself. However, if they navigate away and then come back, then they will no longer be able to see the view and they will land on the first recommended view on that list. Let's discuss a little bit more about the user group and saved views, because when a view is shared with user groups, there can be different behavior that can happen if an access group is deactivated and then reactivated and so on. So we should discuss some of those functionality also. First is, if an access group with which the saved view was shared is deactivated, then no user in that group will see the saved view. User will only see other views that they have access to. If a deactivated or a deleted access group is the last remaining access group with which the view was shared, then only the creator will be able to view that saved view. User in a deactivated access group will continue to see the saved view. The deactivated access group will still be visible and associated with the saved view in case the admin user wants to remove and clear out the group to the saved view. Views cannot be shared with deactivated access groups. Owners of a view making a copy of a view shared with a group will keep the view flagged as shared with the group, but the group name will be removed, essentially making that view private to that user that just made a copy. Non-owner of a view making a copy of the view shared with a group will result in private view for that user only. For users that create their own views, under the Mine tab, we'll see the action column. Hovering over the specific view under the action column will display two icons for this user. The first is going to be shared and the second is going to be delete. The users with the view administer access right will see the same action column under the shared tab also. When clicking on or hovering over the two actions that are there is the shared view and delete view, and when clicking on the shared view there are three options available. First is to keep the view private, second is to share with everyone, and third, share with specific groups, and that action is only enabled if the user has view administer access right. Sharing a view is basically done as follows. When a user has created the view, they can hover over in the manage view on top of the line where the view is there that they want to share. They can click on the share icon, which will then bring up the shared view information, asking them if they want to keep the view private, shared with everyone, or a specific group. They can click on everyone if the specific group needs to be shared with every user. Or when they click on the shared, they can then select the specific group provided they have the access right, and then they can, once they select the specific group, they will get the option for the list of adding the different groups. So add group button will be available, and then they can select one or multiple groups that they would want to include with which they want to share this view with. They can also have the delete button to remove this access group from this view from specific access groups. And once they click on done, they would see under the shared the icon that this specific view is shared with groups. So they see the group icon and they see a counter as to how many groups that this has been shared with. Alright, with that, let's see the product in action. So here I am in Clarity 16.1.0. I'm logged in as the administrator and I am in the project list page. This project list page, if I go towards my view, has several views that either I have marked as my favorite or views created by others. If I want to manage these views, I can click on the manage icon, and here you can see the two tabs, the Mine tab, and all of these views are created by me. They've been shared with everyone. I have the option to flag any of these as recommended because as an administrator I have the view administer access right. And as you can see, as I'm hovering over it, I can see the different icons to take action, the share or the delete. I can also go into the shared tab, and in there I can see all the views that are shared. And again, in this case, I have all the views that that I had created are shared with everyone. So let's go ahead and create a new view. So let's close this. I'm going to just stay with my financial, but I'm going to add a couple more columns. Actually, I'm going to add priority in here. I want to see my financial information based on the business unit priority as well as the corporate priority. So I'm just going to add them right here. And because I modified my view, the view becomes unsaved. I can go in here and I can say save as, and let's call this financials with priority. Now that I have saved this view, I can go into the manage view. Let's go into mine and there is my view that is created, and because my view that I had created or that I made a copy of was originally shared with everyone, so I see that is shared with everyone. So at this point I can click on the share icon next to it. That gives me the option to make the changes. If I want to make this view private, I can do that by just clicking on private and say confirm, and now you'll see that this view is no longer shared with everybody. It is just private. If I go to the shared and look over here, I don't see the second view listed. Let's go back and at this point share this with specific groups. So I'm going to click on that. It now gives me the option to add groups. I can click on that and let's share this with the financial manager, because these are financial attributes with priority. I'm just going to share it with the financial manager group. Notice that now the shared icon has the group icon listed under it, and it has the counter 1 because I only shared it with one group. Hovering over it gives me the exact group name with which this specific view is shared with. If I go to the Share tab, I will see the same. The financial with priority now appears over here. It has the group icon and it tells me that this is shared with financial manager, and that's the only group that this is shared with. Alright, let's go into the user to check, because I'm now next going to log in as two specific users. The first one I'm going to log in as Dana. Dana has quite a bit of access in the group, but she does not belong to the financial management user group. So she has quite a few groups that she's part of. She also has access to the view administer. And the other user I'm going to log in as is Rakesh, who is my financial manager. Rakesh Bhatt is the one. He is my financial manager and he has access to some of the other groups too. Alright, now let's log in as that specific user. So I'm going to go into my application and I'm going to log in as Dana first. And I'm going to log in and go directly to my project list page where I have all my views that I want to look at. So by default, Dana is landed into the last view that she was using. If I go into my list of views that is available to Dana, if I scroll down, I see the financial forecast and financials with priority. And now if I go into as manage user, I don't see that view listed under mine. But if I go to shared, I see that the finance with priority and which user group it is shared with. Again, the reason why Dana is able to see that even though she does not belong to this group is because she has the view administer access right. And as a view administrator, she can go in and make changes to this specific view, which is why she's able to see it. Next, I'm going to go ahead and log in as Rakesh, going to the same part of the application, Rakesh sees his financial view that he has created. If I go into manage, I see the ones that Rakesh has created, goes to shared. Rakesh does not have access to the as a view administrator, but because he belongs to financial group, he sees the finance with priority access group listed right here. Because he's not a view administrator, he does not see the column with the actions listed, so he cannot make any changes to any of these shared views. He can only flag them as favorites, so he can go ahead and select that. And now he sees the financial with priority listed right here. And next, let's find another user that does not belong to the financial management group and is not administrator for the views. So let's go back as our admin and let's look at, we have a user called Jason Berry. And if I look at Jason Berry, he does not belong to any administration group and he does not belong to financial management. So let's log in as Jason. So let's log out as Rakesh. Let's go in and let's log in as Jason. If I go into my projects list view and I go in the list of views, I do not see the financial listed anywhere. So because Jason does not belong to financial management, he does not see that group because it is not shared with him. And this concludes our section. Thank you, everyone.